Hello everyone. It's a bit unexpected, but we have another game of the tournament today. We're about to start. It's Matt and Ethan versus Omelaya and xseibtx, and I'm today here with Rock. Hello.
Hi guys. Let's see on spots. Oh, that's interesting. So I have Rome versus Asia. It's 1 versus 1 on 2 parts of the map, and so on the left we have Mati against Omelaya. Mati is Rome and Omelaya is playing Asians. And on the right side of the map, we have xseibtx playing Romans versus Edson playing Asians. So that's very interesting how the spots are. I'm really interested. How will it go? What will be the consequences of the fact that spots look like that? Of course, Mati and Evan are favorites to win this match as they're way more experienced players who has played in some tournaments before. But of course, xseibtx and Omelaya has their own skills too, so maybe they will come up with something interesting and unexpected, but we will see what comes.
I would say this is the first time we have such a setting in the tournament. The players were so far apart from the teammates and sort of battling different races on different sides of the mirror. I'm not really sure how that will turn out. Probably the Asian guy will be a bit behind at the beginning, but then once the additional stone into iron comes in, he should have a bit of an advantage, unless they plan to rush. We'll see.
Yeah, I think some rush might be going on. I think the spots are quite good for a rush. I mean, a 1v1 rush. Because it's very difficult to get some help from your ally.
On the other hand, the Asian can call, right, from across the map, so...
That's true. It's very good that's very good that some Asian was picked here, so it makes this game a bit more interesting, I think.
I'd say they would have to make gold, though. Even when you go with the samurai sword or just the typical sword rush with the Romans, gold is very much needed here. Let's see what they go for. I'd say if the one rushing would be xseibtx and Omelaya, because they're underdogs in this case, I would say.
Yeah, I think it might be a good idea for us if I was one of them. But from the other hand, I've seen some good players in this tournament who wanted, just to finish off the enemy quickly and be in the next round. So it's difficult to say what will happen. Just this move.
And before we dive into the game any further, let's lay it out how the bans went. So Mati was the first one to ban. He banned Egyptians and Asians. And then xseibtx followed with the Amazons. That's why they ended up with Romans in this case. And then Omelaya banned Romans and Amazons. And Ethan banned Egyptians. And they ended up with Asians. I've seen Ethan practice, I think, recently. Played a few games with Asians. But, I mean, he's overall a good player, so should be fine with that. And Romans, I think, is the favorite race for Mati in this case. I'm not really sure how good is Omelaya with Asians. I would have to look into Power BI in order to tell whether he has some experience under his belt with this race, but I don't think I've seen him play it.
Yeah, but it's an interesting choice that when you take a look at the xseibtx, he has built a winery before sawmill. So he might be planning to rush, or he might be expecting some quick attack from Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, his build is overall interesting because he didn't go for the small houses, as is the meta currently. He went for the medium one instead. That gives him additional settlers and additional geologists if he chose to, but he only made 3. So that's a bit surprising.
Do you think that on this particular spot it might make some sense to build this quick geologist, the small, medium house, or not?
I mean, I know it's the meta to go for the 3 or 2 small ones, but I don't think it's too big of a mistake to go for the medium. So I think it's just a matter of preference. But I think if he goes for the medium, he should build more geologists and search the mountain faster, at least like 7, I would say. Because the disadvantage of this solution is now your second sawmill will be a bit delayed, right? So you don't have the wood.
Yeah, but Matti also doesn't have the sawmill, the second sawmill yet.
Yeah, but he has a few planks left. I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Zaib does not. And...
Well, on the other hand, Zaib has this quick winery, so
yeah,
that's why.
I'm curious if it's something that he did on purpose, or maybe he didn't have anything else to build, or like felt like this. He doesn't have any place to like plant another, I don't know, woodcutters, and that's why he decided to go for the winery. Or is it a part of the plan? I guess we'll see in a few minutes. I'm taking a look at Ethan. So far pretty standard, going for the single rice farm. Pretty quick though, right? It's before the rice farm seems to be before the medium house and the 3rd sawmill.
Mate is towering quickly towards the big mountain. Wants to have access to it quickly, as he has lost a tower battle against Omelaya, who got a small mountain that is close to them. However, Mate has still some mountain behind him, so he has an early access to the mountains. But I guess that he wants to have the best possible mountains as soon as possible.
I would say his spot is pretty sweet. I would say the beginning was pretty rough because there wasn't that many trees, I guess, but the land on the right, especially right from the swamp, is very nice. Quite flat, a lot of stone, a bit of trees to cut as well. That swamp might be a bit annoying for him, but I mean, he should just work something out of it. I think the Asians, although the Asians also have a decent spot, the only issue is maybe that desert right there. They would prefer to have a Greenland there and build a farm or something else, but shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, but I guess they still have plenty space for some farm, so something like that.
Rock, I think you're getting like far away from the mic, and I think.
Oh, okay. Is it better now?
Yes, it's fine.
Yes, okay.
Now Ethan is sending out an early spy. He sees the market from Zaib. I don't think he sees the iron smelter just yet. He should see it shortly. He's walking towards it. So it looks to be a push of some sort, because Omelaya is also going for early weaponsmith, and Matti is sending the swordman, which I don't think will be able to spot that, right?
Yeah, it's not in a position that it's possible to go there, and the swordman just dies.
Or maybe did it go from the north or from like east or west? I'm not really sure. I haven't seen it walk in. There's a spy coming from Matti from the right hand side into the Omelaya country. Interestingly enough, Omelaya found early gold. Very good mine.
Yep, that's pretty good. I think that Omelaya might be a bit faster than Ethan. What do you think? Because Ethan is struggling a bit with his wood, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't have settlers. It looks like he went for Omelaya went for the medium house. That's why he has plenty of settlers to carry the wood. Whereas Ethan went for the small one and then the medium one. I think that was a mistake to carry the 2 planks into the rice farm, but they're very much aware of the rush. because Ethan is leveling the weaponsmith already. And Matti going in with another swordman from the left side this time. And he has a spy on the right as well. So he will confirm that it is indeed a rush. I mean, as I was sort of expecting, Omelaya and xseibtx are the one that should look for some sort of aggression early on, because I'd say in the long run they would most likely lose to Matti and Ethan.
Yes, however, Omelaya has, I think, slightly faster beginning than Ethan. However, I think that he will just keep up and become faster soon enough, as long as I know the way he plays. How would you compare the game of Matti and xseibtx?
It's quite difficult to compare at this point because they chose different builds. I would say xseibtx is doing a pretty good job of executing the rush, although I don't think he needs a third medium resident just yet. I would much rather him go for the mines, which he found are very good. Like the iron is pretty decent, a few very good coal mines. It's a good spot for the rush. And so far he's doing an okay job of executing it. I think he forgot the second forester, which I hope he will build very soon because he needs it. There isn't that many trees in here.
He is building this second forester. I see it. There is one stone there, so it's progressing slowly. Yet though it's progressing.
That's good. And also he's building, I think, too many towers. He has plenty of free settlers. He doesn't need that tower north. When you're rushing, you want to save every possible resource material in that case to have it, to build the most essential buildings only. And he's going for the small temple already, which is a good timing because the winery will start harvesting in a few minutes.
So what we can see is the xseibtx is trying to cut off a bit Ethan from the mountains. He's pioneered towards Ethan quite aggressively, and he's starting to build a tower there. However, Ethan has still a lot of mountains, so I don't think it might have too much of an impact, but well, it depends, of course, on the mountains so far.
Yeah, I would say it's unnecessary. He's rushing anyways, he doesn't need there won't be a long... it's unlikely that the game will go long, so he doesn't need to fight for the mountain or anything. Yeah,
because it's very important, the good decision-making process. If you're rushing, then you have to cut on something else. That is why it's rushing. You're not doing everything that you could possibly do.
Omelaya is struggling a bit with the mountains. He hasn't taken them yet. Although he found a few good mines. They're not as good as xseibtx, but the iron is at least very good. Maybe he will be able to find another coal. Because his weaponsmith is already working, has produced a few weapons already. One to be exact. So he needs the mines ASAP if he wants to keep that weaponsmith running.
Yeah, exactly. And what we can say is that Matti is finding his first mines. He's a bit slower in these terms than xseibtx. xseibtx already found them, but they just started to build them, and then they're proceeding, but the building hasn't stopped yet. Both of them, I mean Matti and xseibtx, doesn't have a weaponsmith yet, and they're on the client's same level of it. However, Matti has less medium houses. So I say outside it's xseibtx and Omelaya for now on are doing quite well.
Yeah, I mean xseibtx is quite late with the weaponsmith, I agree. He over-invested in settlers.
Yeah. But still, I would say that Xseibtx and Omelaya, even though they're still quite okay. However, I think that Mate is, becoming faster and faster. But still, they're surprisingly quick. I wouldn't say that Xseibtx can be that fast if you compare it with Mate, for instance, or some other very good player.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree, but so the early part of the game is basically more or less the same. I think now it's the matter of strategic choices that they go for. And it's not good for Xavi that he's so late with the weaponsmith, because you need more, obviously, more weapons than the person defending the rush
Oh
at this
yeah,
point.
obviously.
And I like what Mati is doing with the 2 towers that he placed inside the swamp. So I said before that the swamp might be a pain in the ass in the long run, because obviously people slow down next to it. But it's a perfect spot for the 2 towers that he placed. If it ever comes to it and he has to crash the 2 towers in the middle, I mean, capturing those in the middle of the swamp will be very difficult for Omelaya, simply because how slow the soldiers are.
What is unorthodox that Xseibtx, I think, is not going for a large temple. He just he's just building a small one. Yeah, he already has a small one.
He goes
And
for the farm.
Yeah, he goes for a farm, but he has no large temple. It's strange if he's playing for Ash. Let's see on what weapon is he doing. And this
All
sword.
weapons, so far, no, I'm not looking at the settings, it's all weapons so far, so maybe he forgot to change.
Oh,
I'm not sure. So maybe it's not a rush, maybe it's a bait of some sort. We'll see, I guess, but...
maybe it's, like, he wants to be defensive and he wants to survive and he's scared and this is why he's building some weaponsmith quickly. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's afraid of Ethan rushing him. It's possible. When you are stressed, you make some strange decisions sometimes. I know it's on my own.
I mean, yeah, sure, possibly, because he's recruiting the level 1 as well. You can see Ethan is pulling, dirty strategy, pulling the soldiers from Xseibtx on his own land and trying to slaughter them. A bit of a cheeky play right there. Fortunately for Xseibtx, no one has died yet. And Ethan should be perfectly fine. He's building the 2 large temples. He has the mines already, so the weaponsmith that he placed will continue producing weapons. He has enough settlers to recruit a few more weapons, and he's adding another medium residence. I'd prefer that medium residence to go before the additional weaponsmith, but he should be fine either way.
Yeah, so as we can see now, even though it might have looked quite good for Xseibtx and Omelaya at some point, it's not looking good right now. I mean, as you can see, basically, Ethan and Mati are just playing way cleaner and it's profiting all the time.
Yeah, Omelaya is a bit... not really sure what he's... he put the priority on the temple, so there are planks laying in the sawmill currently, and he didn't go for the gold mine, which I don't like. I think it's a great mine, and he has the water pretty close, so he can make additional fish. He's recruiting the level 2 swords already, so that's his 3rd temple, obviously. That's because he wants another spell. I'm not really sure. Do you have another spell with 3 temples? I don't think you can have 2 samurai sword, right? But maybe you have a call and a samurai sword?
Maybe some heavenly gifts? That's the thing.
Maybe, but that would be my last bet, I would say. He doesn't have the iron mine, so all the weapons that he can produce, he already produced. And he has to wait for that mine to finish, and then wait for the miner to get him some iron, which will take a lot of time. Although Mati doesn't have the mines either, so once he exhausts all of the sorting minerals, and he will stop producing as well.
Yeah, he's struggling with that. So that's a good thing for Omelaya. And I think that it might be a good idea for Omelaya to attack now and take just 2 towers from Mati. Of course, Mati would crash them. And he just crashed one of them. But he could just, maybe make some pressure, maybe try to tower this forest from Mati. So maybe that could be the thing.
Yeah, Omelaya at this point can force Mati to crash the tower and then build one of his own and then destroy the forest. It would be quite a blow, I'd say. And as I said, Mati is defending inside of the swamp. Well, I'd like to point out that the damage that the priority...
Yeah, Omelaya is going in.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'd like to point out the damage that the priority does for those players. Like, using the priority should be very, like, one building or two, because everything else just gets dropped when you use it. And Mati crashes the tower, obviously.
Yeah, so he's just lost one woodcutter. Omelaya should be at this point. Omelaya should be trying to tower Mati. Mati is a bit in a trouble because he has no mines yet. I mean, Omelaya also doesn't have it, but he has some level 2. What is good for Mati is that he has, the strength that is higher on his own land. But the situation looks quite, I would say, it looks quite dangerous for Mati.
Let's see how the fight plays out. It's a good place for defense. So far it's not too bad for Omelaya, although he cannot get the surround. He throws the samurai sword. I'm not sure if the pioneers, his own pioneers, I think, are blocking him a little bit. Mati goes back tiny bit. I mean, he cannot go back all the way because he will lose the towers. And one tower is already halfway dead because the swordman died inside.
Yeah.
The samurai sword will wear out in a few seconds, though. He will be able to crush this one and possibly maybe another, because the angle isn't that really good for Mati.
Yeah, actually, I think that Mati can die.
One tower went down. There is few soldiers still left for Omelaya. And I'm not really sure how many are left there for Mati. Just a handful. I think he's dead, yeah.
Mati is dying. Mati is dead.
That's very surprising. I think he made a bit of a mistake during that defense. He allowed them to come into the... get into the entrance, and that's... Yeah, Mati cannot defend, although he has the tower on the right-hand side, so if Ethan will come with some reinforcements, then he should be fine, because Omelaya isn't reproducing.
Ethan is going there with a priest, so it's not over yet. But, well... he is in a deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, I mean he lost...
both of them, Ethan and Mati.
He lost the majority of, like, the most important buildings, really. The only thing that he has left going for him is the few stonecutters, the winery, and there's still a sawmill on the left-hand side, but not for too long, I think. Now let's take a look at Xeibt. Ethan is safe, right? But maybe Ethan can then do a counter-attack and attack Xeibt in this case, or he can also call into Omelaya land and crash the tower, take the tower that Omelaya has completely unprotected at this point.
I think that a major mistake of Mati was that he didn't go for this near mines, because he had incredible iron and colder.
Yeah, I agree. It's very surprising. I mean, maybe he was unlucky. He searched the north part of the mountain and only later on the left one, and maybe that's when he found those mines. But that's true, he shouldn't have gotten there that far.
However, what is very dangerous, what's still very dangerous for Omelaya and Xeibt, if Mati is not dead. Of course, it will be difficult for him to come back as he has no food. And
Omelaya picked up a lot of... because Mati didn't have mines, all of the food is lying there in the starting position. And also, Ethan is doing the counterattack that I mentioned, I think so at least, because he's pulling soldiers together and he's bringing the priest up from the big temple. I don't think he can make it though. xseibtx has level 2 swords of his own. There's no gold whatsoever for Ethan, so he has to rely on the samurai sword. I think at this point, Ethan should just play. I think he has a good chance 1v2. I mean, as I said, they're good long play players. Ethan and Mati, that is. So maybe throwing that away is not that best of an option. Also, xseibtx is doing a counterattack of his own in the north part of the map, or maybe just holding the sword in case Ethan attacks there as well. Samurai sword goes down. There's plenty of pioneers for xseibtx and level 2 swords, which Mati did not have. I don't think Ethan can make it. Although a lot of soldiers are dying too. Very close.
And 4 soldiers from xseibtx are going for the tower of Ethan, and Ethan has nothing to defend it. He hasn't crushed it. And that's GG, I would say.
That's GG, yeah, they give up.
Yeah. That's very surprising. That's the biggest surprise of the tournament, I would say.
Yeah, the one that we've streamed at least. The other one was Generalen and Zen. And we have to remember, this is a losers bracket game, so Mati and Ethan, they're out of the tournament at this point.
Yep.
Wow, very surprising game. Alright, GG's. Congrats to Omelaya and xseibtx. They pulled a miracle victory, I would say.
Yeah, they just turned the odds completely. That's really, that's a shocking victory, and it's, congratulations for them.
Let's take a quick look at the stats. Pretty even in terms of soldiers. Mati, lots of battles. That's interesting. So many battles. The pioneers, I guess. Omelaya did a good job of tanking a lot of damage with the pioneers, and then used the samurai sword in the perfect moment, and managed to get into the towers with the samurai sword. Mati couldn't just retreat from that, and he lost because you can see how strong the samurai sword is. The damage, the soldiers, I mean, Omelaya had only 1 soldiers more, and then obviously level 2 and the samurai sword. Incredible.
Yeah. I'm still shocked,
Yeah, me too. Absolutely stunned, I would say. Oh yeah, guys, I mean, there you have it. I guess just because you're the favorite doesn't mean you have to win it. Obviously, Russians are very, very dangerous with Asians and Egyptians, obviously, but yeah, a good game there by Omelaya and xseibtx, and we have to say goodbye to Mati and Ethan, unfortunately, because as I said, it's a losers bracket game. Right, thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Rock, for the cast.
Thank you.
Bye.